Here's the thing. Yesterday and the day before, I made it very obvious my opinions on injustice. And I will continue to speak into that because not only has God positioned me as a business owner, I'm not a ministry owner, I'm not a pastor. No, I'm not called to lead a church. As a matter of fact, I'm called to lead the people that don't want to go to church because of pain and hurt. I'm called to help anybody start a business. Anybody. And I began thinking this morning that if you're a white business owner and you have never hired anyone of color, I want to challenge you to ask yourself why. As I began to read some of the comments that were just beyond me from some of the things that I said yesterday, it reminded me that historically the Christian church is so full of division. They have historically, and you can just see this like because of how many denominations there are. Historically, the Christian church has divided on anything that they can divide on. So like if you're over here on one thing, we're going to divide on that thing. Like Carl Lentz talked about that. You know, if we're going to speak on one topic, why are you throwing away every other topic? You know, I had people write me yesterday and say to me, I agree with everything you've said, but I don't like the post that you made, so I'm no longer doing business with you and I'm no longer following you. That's fine with me. If that's the way you think, then you probably shouldn't do business with me. Because unfortunately, our nation, our world, and especially because I'm a Christian, but I'm a radical out of the box Christian. One of the most radical things about me is that I love all people. Quite frankly, that's what I believe my Christian faith is about. My Christian faith is not, well, if you do this or you do that, or you don't do this and you don't do that, and you go here or you do that or whatever. I didn't become a Christian so that I could decide where I want to divide. That's so demonic in its roots. It is appalling to me when a Christian will hold up all of their tenets of where they divide, what they disagree with, who they're not going to listen to, who they're not going to partner with, as if that is the tenet of their faiths. Oh my God, it just drives me crazy. Or you've got people who, you know, I have helped so many people in my 26 years of business, people of color. And I have had the incredible honor of bearing their burden, washing their feet, helping them. Helping a black man in America start a business is a different thing than helping a white man in America start a business. And I'm going to speak from my perspective as a business owner who has influenced millions of people over 26 years. Helping a Latino man start a business in America is much different than helping a white man start a business in America. And as soon as Christians want to go off on, you know, well, if you believe in that, I'm not going there with you. I don't really care. Because this whole thing is so mind-boggling to me. 2 months ago, everybody's dividing on who wears a mask and who doesn't wear a mask. Now we're dividing on whether you're going to stand for injustice or you're going to stand there nimbly doing nothing. And I'm thinking to myself, this is so common in the Christian faith. Where do we divide? Where do we divide? I want to challenge you. Where the hell do we unite? Like, seriously, do people forget that Jesus was probably a man of color? He wasn't a white American. Just look at where he was born. Do we forget that God brought judgment on people for rebuking a prophet? For marrying a black woman? Oh, The way that people divide is beyond me. I am not for rioters or looting. I think that is a low bottom of the barrel way to try to get something to change. But if you're going to focus on rioting and looting when we still have several officers who have not been arrested, when we still have a man who committed a lynching, a brutal, heinous crime by killing a black man with his knee, are we, when you're going to fight about whether or not someone stands for injustice and you are not, there are riots all over the nation and we still, the fact that it's taken this time for them to say, and you know what? I'm not against police officers. I personally have been on the phone with and talked to and had FaceTime sent to me yesterday about with police officers on their knee, with friends of mine who are secret agents, friends of mine who are black and are secret agents, weeping and talking to me. Friends of mine who are on the front lines. No, I'm not against all police. Are you freaking kidding me? I'm one of the first person who talks about government in the earth, government in the church, government in the home, and government in the world. Pay attention to what I've been talking about. But we're talking about injustice. We're talking about someone gets their rights taken away because of the color of their skin, because of their sexual preference. Someone has a harder time getting a loan because of their skin color, because of their sexual preference. This is the same kind of stuff. Like in a tiny, I hate even bringing it up. I've been judged for just being a woman. I've been told I can't talk in certain churches because I have breasts and a vagina. I've been told I can't say certain things in certain areas because I'm a woman. To even call a female-owned or a black-owned business different is beyond me in 2020. For someone to have to fight for their rights because of their gender, because of the color of their skin, because of their sexual preference is beyond me. In the land of the free and the brave, we are becoming the land of the divided and the weak. I'm an abolitionist. God has put on me a Martin Luther King Jr. and a Martin Luther anointing. You've got a reformer and a revivalist boiling in my blood. And I hear from Christians I had a block on my phone who said to me, if you're going to stand for that, I'm no longer doing business with you. If you're going to stand for that, if you're going to harp on Black Lives Matter, I'm no longer going to talk to you. You're talking to a woman who's had 5 death threats since I came online. And every single death threat has been because of my position on equality. Every single time I have had to report to the FBI twice death threats because of my opinion on equality, because of my talking about God on the airways. Do you not even see the corruption of the media going bonkers from COVID to this, when we're only going to broadcast mask or no mask? We've gone from to the second layer. Have we gone from a virus now to let's see if we can get the people hating each other? Wake up. If there's ever been a time when we've united, it is now. But I will not stand by. If you have ever not been able to rent a property, take out a loan, start a business, do anything because of your color, because of your sexual preference, I don't understand it. I don't. And if you call yourself a Christian and you don't stand for justice because you're going to take a Bible verse and say, I'm not standing for justice. You know, most of the white homophobic people that I meet, many of them are addicted to porn. Should I go there? Most of the white people who are having a fit about my talking about injustice have secret sins, bosom sins that they will not speak on. The level of violence in which you must divide shows me you have an issue in your heart. You probably have a secret sin somewhere. If I've talked enough on trauma, do you not see a 400-year plus trauma screaming at the top of their lungs? People use Christianity as a card of division. My Jesus died on a cross and said it is finished. That was for every human being. Whosoever will received his gift of salvation is for whosoever will. Not a racist, divided. I mean, the Christian church is built on so much division. Just look at how many denominations they are. Life matters, for crying out loud. I was gang raped and even had some white leaders at that time as a young 20-year-old woman ask me, are you sure you didn't wear something immodest? Are you sure you didn't provoke this attack? And as a woman who who started a business, the amount of stuff I have had to peel my way through and stand against, as a woman seeking to even open her mouth in the Christian church. I remember when I first came on Facebook and I had a bunch of white men tell me I wasn't allowed to talk about some of this stuff on Facebook because I have breasts and a vagina and I'm a Christian. The thing that people don't realize, I spent 7 years studying oppression on women in every culture, not just the Christian culture. I have spent years studying on this. I don't even have a descriptive word to describe how motivated by death and demonic racism is. If you don't understand the root of racism, and you want to make this about anything else, like Carl Lentz said, this ain't an issue about all lives matter. If you got half a brain, obviously all lives matter. Oh, if you want to argue with me and say all lives matter, then tell me why Black lives don't matter, why Latino lives don't matter, why Asian lives don't matter, why anyone in the LGBTQ lives don't matter. Why? No, this is about who is not getting equality and who's not getting justice. I do not condone riots. I do not condone violence. But even Martin Luther King Jr. said riots are the language of the injustice. Unfortunately, you have corrupt white supremacists even getting involved in the riots and creating violence. You have so much stuff. It's interesting because I was looking at all the comments of people who told me to shut my mouth speaking on injustice, who told me, and when I spoke on police brutality, you must not like all police. Every single one of them was white. Oh. Let me just say to my followers, to my clients, to my friends, to anybody under the sound of my voice, if you are a person who has ever been injusticed in any capacity because of your gender, because of the color of your skin, because of your sexual preference, on behalf of any white leader or any leader who's ever done that to you, I stand in the gap and I say, please forgive me. Please forgive any leader who's ever injustice you. And I stand here in the gap as well. And I say, I stand with you. I stand with you. I stand for equality for all. I stand for the beautiful unity of diversity in harmony. And I will raise a sword against injustice as long as I live. And if that offends you, I will challenge you to examine your heart. If you want to go off on the deep end on one little point to discredit all points, I challenge you to examine your heart. When the whole virus broke out, I wondered how long it would take for martial law. And then when all this breaks out, I'm wondering how long it's going to take for martial law. Don't become a victim of a bigger world that wants you to riot and loot. If you have anger in your heart and you think to damage property and to steal and to riot is going to change it, who is pushing that agenda? Who wants you so angry that you do that so they can arrest you? Who wants you so angry so that you'll do that so that they can point a finger at you? I believe in protesting, but I saw a very peaceful, civil, loving protest in Oklahoma yesterday, live streamed to me on Facebook on my phone, not some broadcast from some media. I saw it turn violent. I saw police on their knees, and I saw it turn violent. The media wants you to see all the murderous rage. They're not showing you the white police hugging black men. They're not showing you. They're not showing you some of the peace that's starting to happen. God positioned me on the mountain of media, and all I can think of is to scream and cry out about injustice as we are sitting here rioting and looting and paying attention to that. We still have police officers who have not been arrested, who have not been charged with first-degree intentional murder. Even the man whose knee was on beautiful George Floyd's neck had a repeated history of offense. And when Christians want to come to me and scream at me about a hashtag I use or about a position I take and discredit everything, you are the root of racism when you do that. When you come and say, I'm discrediting everything because of this one thing, isn't that the same spiritual? I'm discrediting everything about you because of the color of your skin. I'm discrediting everything about you because of your sexual preference. I'm discrediting everything about you because of body parts. Like everything about me was discredited in so many churches because I have breasts and a vagina. What? Oh, and when I had pink hair, it was even worse. I didn't change my pink hair to appease anyone. I wanted my blonde hair. You know that when I don't even know whether to go here. I date black men. I am in a beautiful relationship with a black man. I was completely unaware that racism was still so strong that I've seen us go to dinner and see me be judged or him be judged, or we've been pulled over for going 5 over, and I've seen him driving my car looked at like he is a criminal, and I look and I go, excuse me, this is my vehicle, here's my registration, and seen anger diffuse itself. No, I'm not against all police, but if you think this isn't a problem, you are clueless. I've seen judgment because I've dated a man who's 10 years younger than me. The amount of judgment, and Christians are notorious for what they will divide on more than what they will unite on. I mean, I don't know whether to make the statement that Christians historically are the biggest voice of what they will divide on before what they will unite on. I don't know that to be a fact yet, but my suspicions believe it to be so. God so loved the world that whosoever would believe in him, whosoever would receive the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ for their past, present, and future sin, would have eternal life. All I'm saying is if you're going to divide on something, more than you're going to look at where you're going to unite on something, check your heart. I'm excited today that I get to go into a room with 2,000 business owners in my inner circle who are of every color of the rainbow, who are of a variety of sexual preferences, who come with a variety of trauma and stories, who come from a variety of backgrounds, and even a variety of faiths. Who am I that you would be so mindful of me, God, to give me such a beautiful community of diversity and harmony? That is the army that I want walking with me. That kind of diversity. God positioned me in the world to educate people out of hell, to be a disruptor for wrong thinking, to help people who typically would not have a hand up to start a business, to help people who have businesses to spend less and do more. If you are a white business owner and you have not hired a variety of people in your company, I'm going to ask you to check your heart. I look forward to meeting with all of my inner circle members. I'm so blessed that I have that amount of diversity in my group, in my inner circle. Like follows like breeds like. And I look at the beautiful, at 11 a.m. we're going live. If you want to join my inner circle, I dropped the price by 75%. So, I mean, I personally took a 75% hit in our company to benefit others. But I look at the beautiful diversity in my inner circle where everyone is welcome. We have ex-cons in there who are rebuilding their life. We have men and women in there who have spent half their life in prison, who are now rebuilding their life. They can't get a job because of what's on their record, but they can start their own business. Men and women who've come out of prison, who even their parole officers have left their duty. They believe in these people so much. That's the kind of Christian I am, because I will stand to help anybody start a business. That doesn't mean I don't have convictions and I don't have beliefs, but I will stand in harmony with you even if we disagree. When it comes to injustice, absolutely. When it comes to love as a fellow human being. And if you won't, then you don't belong as my follower. You don't belong in my inner circle, and that's okay. But you don't need to hate on the way out of the door, because that doesn't prove anything. I love you, my friends. Talk to you later.